welcome back and again to my vlog, The Life Coaching of Gaming. This afternoon, we will have a special guest, one of my seatmate and close friend in elementary. Each one of us must have this kind of role, no? Sa atuang life, enable for us to survive sa kaning situation karon. Kay murag makita jud nga daghan jud kayong mga tao ga struggle especially in handling their finances. So let's welcome Miss Kezia Niere. I hope wala ko na sa imong new family name.
Okay ra, sakto ra jud. And thanks Amy for having me on your vlogs and show. I appreciate it. Hopefully maka-contribute ko sa like additional learnings that you've already shared sa imong audience.
Let's start with how did we knew each other?
As far as I could remember, like feeling nako classmate ta grade 1. Kinsa imong teacher pag grade 1?
Ma'am Villarisa ko.
Classmate jud ta kay si Ma'am Villarisa man ang akong grade 1 teacher.
Oh, diba?
Classmate. Oh my God. Classmate jud ta. So grade 1 pa lang nagkailhanay na jud ay.
Yeah.
Dili man ko na grade 2 sa class. Nag-transfer man ko.
Okay. Ako jud ay nakalimot.
So grade 1 ta nagkaila first pero wala pa kaayo to kay dili layo man ta ato gud na seatmates. Tapos grade 4, grade 5 didto ta. Transfer ko sa Surigao grades 2, 3. Tapos nibalik ko 4, 5. Tapos ni transfer na sad ko padung sa Surigao. So basically I was in and out. Balik ko 3rd year and 4th year, di ba? Nga. By that time, schoolmates na lang ta, di na ta classmates because transferee man ko, ikaw na consistent star section man jud ka. Wala man jud ka nawala dira na sort of deviated ana nga environment. I'm also grateful bitaw na I get to have that with you because as we grow older, I notice lang ba na sa una, murag ang definition nato of friendship is dapat jud magkuyog, maskig-asa, halos magsumpay na lang ang kinaayan all, magdungan jud as maturity slowly crept in. Murag na-realize na ko nga friendship guys is not about that. Murag that's like the toxic mentality of what friendship is supposed to be. Murag friendship di ay is sort of, I would say, murag siya bag, it never really wanes over time. Just like kani, like the same warmth lang gihapon ang akong na-experience despite us not seeing each other or for like almost 10 years, and at the same time i-couple pa nimo ang element bitaw na in our high school since lahi na ta and you were part of the star section, ako was the section next to that. We remained like friends.
A heartwarming conversation nga ato ang pagbalik karon. It's like a reunion, no? That's why guys, as you can see, it's really not too late, no, to have a reunion with your other long lost friends. Everyone was wondering why we have this kind of nickname party.
Actually, like nipis na kayo ang akong memory about how I came up with that name, but what I could really remember is like the feeling na super lingaw gid kay ta ba na whenever nga magkuyog bitaw ta, it's like a party.
You already knew kung unsa jud ang background, no, why we became so close. Dugay na gid ni siya nga gina-request ako ang mga subscribers and viewers regarding gid aning financial literacy and financial freedom, especially karon nga people are just wasting money so abrupt. The following day magmahay dayon sila kung asa na nila nabutang ang ilahang kwarta, knowing some of the things nga ilahang gi-purchase is dili siya needed. For you, party, what is really the heart or the core of financial literacy?
Actually, no, that is a very good question. Like the nerves is setting in. For me lang the heart of financial literacy and financial freedom is really having autonomy or freedom of your time. Because I think mauna siya ang disconnect with how we are raised in this country generally. Because our school system is unfortunately designed to produce workers. That's just the reality of our school system. Our school system is really never designed to produce. Well, of course, na ay uban na would later on get into business. But then in our generation, we are really trained to be workers instead of being self-starters, of being a business owner. Nothing wrong of being a worker. It's just that like the level of awareness that you get once you realize na working 8 hours a day, that's 40 hours a week, that does not really necessarily resonate with me as something that I would do like for the rest of my working years. That's why we're trying to pursue a different route.
Mo siguro gid na nung I really invited you. Para nako ba ikaw jud ang kanang best nga choice to answer all of these questions. Guys, elementary pa lang she's engaging into business na gyud. I tell you, business nga earning ha, and then gina-train na siya sa iyahang lola. And you were exposed at an early age. How do you handle that one?
I owe it to her. Back then, I did not understand why you're supposed to save money instead of like spend it. Why you're supposed to save your birthday money, save your Christmas money instead of spend it. Um, Now I'm already 28 years old and I'm also on the process na I'm also starting to build my own family. That's where all her lessons click. And I'm telling you guys, if you're someone nga audience ka ni Aimee and you're still in your teenage years or even younger, because I am one of the reasons why also that I also made my channel Wealthy Living You, because I noticed this trend that it's not just like the 40 something, 50 something that's interested about financial literacy. Growing up, yes, it's true. My nanay really exposed me with and how money works. She exposed me. She explained to me how loaning, how you have to take care of your credit. Sometimes, even if you're an adult, once you don't understand something, you tend to question or rebel against the concept. But then once you make time, realize the value of the teachings, that's when you realize, oh my God, I'm so happy na my nanay started me young. I'm super grateful about like all the things that she taught me, even if dili siya mo make sense when I was growing up.
Why do we need to apply this in our life?
For me lang ha, I speak in behalf of myself and also with my family's philosophy lang sa financial literacy is essential to any person's life. You could not build a holistic life time frame if wala kay kwarta, because essentially, especially during the pandemic or when the pandemic exploded, that really exposed us with a lot of risk that we never really imagined 50 to 100 years ago. With that being said, I think I'm a subscriber of like living life holistically. Holistically meaning that I approach life in a growth mindset. I always conduct or subscribe to a growth mindset no matter what I do, whether it's particularly in law school, career upgrade, playing sports, doing business. I really maintain that, and knowing how money works and how you turn money into assets instead of liability. I'm getting into the technical side of things. It is very important lang, Jude, that you know on how money works, because awareness comes in first before you could manage what you're supposed to manage. And if you don't know how money works, unfortunately, you will never attract money in that sense. That's how I was taught, and I believe that that concept works. I'm very happy sad na makatouch base ko with your audience, because I feel like you're also like updated and very passionate about sharing information, growth information.
I would like you to answer some of the questions being placed no in my IG account. So one of the questions na iyahang gikuan diri, since her life is into insurance, stocks markets, what are the mechanics for her to progress? Kay nakasugod naman gud siya.
Again, to answer her question, I believe we need to go back with the best basic definition of what financial literacy is. So according to Investopedia and some of the sites that I usually follow, financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal finance management like budgeting, so that you can have a lifelong journey of learning how money works. That's basically one of the fundamental definition of financial literacy. Now, in connection, Ako hilig jud kay ko to simplify things. I don't know if that's everybody's thing, but that's also one of the reasons why I created my YouTube channel. For me, financial literacy is a way of life wherein you voluntarily and intentionally seek out ways to improve your financial status over a period of time until you achieve your personalized definition of financial freedom. That is my that's my personal definition of financial literacy. Now, in connection to what your friend said, let me just say na she's honestly on the right track because Call Financial Study was conducted way back, if I'm not mistaken, 2015 over 2018. This is based on empirical study where it showed and it really the results were most of the persons rather that are invested in the Philippine Stock Exchange or any stock exchange, stock market in general would end up really doing well in life because the stock market is one of those ways where you could invest and at the same time really learn how to grow your money, especially in the stock market, because that's a tricky game. In my channel, I have one video speaking about fundamental analysis. That's one of the ballpark item that you should learn, especially if you're invested in the stock exchange, is for you to understand like basic concept. You don't have to be a financial analyst. You don't have to be an expert to survive in the stock market. But what you need is to understand basic concept. To give her a short answer to her question is that she needs to know those basic concepts, like what is like a bear market, what is a bull market, when is it bullish. Like investing in anything, especially the stock market, is easy, but the process is not simple because you have to understand some of like the fundamental sides and the technical sides of the stock market.
Very risky sad at the same time. Sana magid siya if you really wanted to grow.
And I also want to add more about it na she has to also filter information. She has to really get a mentor that is a verified stock market analyst who's been, and if she wants, you can connect your friend to me and I will refer her to my personal mentor because I never really learned this overnight. Go get a mentor.
This is my student's question. The question is, Miss, what are the best way on saving and investing? Saving money and investing money.
So to answer that question, we have to break down the question into two parts. First is that she asked about saving. Then after that, we will talk about the investing part. Now, to give you a background, I just really aggressively pursued investing and saving at the same time money when I turned 22 years old. So, like what you said, I'm very happy that kids nowadays, especially naana sila access to these kinds of platform like YouTube, your YouTube channel, they could learn more about financial freedom. If anything that I would teach myself as like a young person growing up, I would have chosen financial literacy. I would have chosen to effectively manage my personal finance nga department sa akong life. Richest Man in Babylon said that for you to effectively or get into the habit of saving is you have to pay yourself first. So let me illustrate. Kita, when we were growing up, even our parents would always tell us, pay your bills. Like that's the introductory statements that our parents would always tell us, you have to pay your bills on time. Now, Richest Man in Babylon said, you should not do that. What you should do first is you have to pay yourself. So how would you pay yourself? First, you can do that by setting aside at least 5 to 10% of your monthly income, no matter how much is it. If you're earning, let's say for example, 5,000 or even 500, you have to pay yourself first, make it a non-negotiable habit. Ever since I read that book, I realized na I've been doing that wrong. Or I think perspective lang, and that's I resonate with. Until now, I practice that. Let's get into the second question. She also asked, how should I get started so that I could start investing? Number one, you have to enhance your earning potential so you could earn more active income. So active income, in simple terms, is imong sweldo. Because ultimately, when you start having a growth mindset, thinking big is the most powerful thing. Number two is that you have to build an emergency fund that includes insurance, like a liquid fund, a savings account that can be accessed on demand just in case na may tabo nimo because you're already saving, right? So before you get into investing, you have to cover the fundamentals, like the hierarchy of needs of a person. Number three is build credit. Through saving, you're indirectly building, also making an image of yourself na, yes, I have this savings accumulated in the bank. Number four is that's when you start investing na. And with the first three steps, that if makover na nimo, I guarantee you, you will make a lot of mistakes, but you will survive. And number five is retire na.
One of my students as well, pag so good yun sa pandemic, last year, 2020, it started more into live selling. Suppose a lot of people are asking about how to invest, where to invest, and what to invest. So my question is, what pointers could you give, especially for starters like me, to grow individually and financially, aside from evaluating ourselves with the needs and wants?
That's actually an interesting question. And one of the things that I really did not predict going into this meeting is that if you have already started, you have to make it as part of your goal to legitimize your business. So how will you do that? You have to register. Technically, if your business is not registered, then kulurum siya. A very important accessory when you've already started your business. Right now, ako personally, I run 3 businesses, my husband and my personal businesses. It is very important that you continuously learn. In a way, now you have to read books about it, what interests you. Just don't stop learning, because when you stop learning, manggod, that's when you stagnate. And when growth is not there, money will also cripple. You have to adapt with the current business and economic situation.
How will she able to maintain her individual and financial growth? O sana sa iyahang mga gipang question. The second question ngayang follow up.
The general or fundamental concepts will work or apply in any person that will ask me about personal finance. And that is, again, she has to really make sure that she keeps on learning with the industry. She has also to learn a lot of fundamentals, like how to effectively sell. She has to learn a lot of government regulations that pertains to selling, because again, it's easy to always start. The skin in the game is on sustaining and making sure that you improve. You have to upgrade your skills, and that, again, that takes a lot of time and energy, but it will pay off.
How could she evaluate herself within sa iyahang needs and wants? Kay mo man gud ni, we started to spend a lot more to our wants than to our needs.
That's actually an interesting question, because I've been a minimalist. So how would you differentiate? So for me and my family, I buy quality over quantity. I'll give you an example. We live in an apartment. Like the basic inclination is you filled it with stuff. Like you buy furniture, or sa imong clothes, you can easily just buy anything you want because everything apparently is on sale nowadays. Most of my friends would be surprised of is when I tell them that I never buy on sale. You know what's the reason why? When you buy on sale, aside from the product not really being on sale, actually, that's just how they market it, you always end up buying more. And kana siya, you have to filter your shopping ads if you're like an impulse spender. Like me before, even now, I honestly would tell you guys na I'm not perfect. I'm not that disciplined. I'm still human. So every time nga na ay mga products like self-development, ang akong obsession is just about self-development and also sports and books. So thankfully, I managed to like get out of it. Another thing is that you have to associate yourself with the right people. If ang imong friend sige kaon-kaon dira, eat out ta. Wala jud kay choice, especially if you're someone who easily succumbs to peer pressure. So kana, you have to surround yourselves like slowly with the right kind of people who make it their mission also to intentionally spend. And also, surround yourself with different principles that would ultimately make you a saver rather than a spender.
You know what? Naka-reflect ko sa kuwang self. And I was like, we don't know, it's very interesting. Impulsive buyer. How could you minimize that one?
Actually, there is a term for that. That is called buyer's remorse. And I'm so grateful that I found minimalism. Now, to give you like a short answer, it is a good thing that you're aware that you are an impulsive buyer and you would tend to experience buyer's remorse from time to time. Surround yourself with the right people. Get rid of that stigma ba na just because you're a spender, wala na kay way of like changing your ways. Here's a tip. I also learned this from the minimalist. When you're going to spend something that is above 500, just wait 1 week before you buy that item. Unless if emergency na jud siya. But usually, it will surprise you. The things you think you need is not the things that really you actually need. By the end of 1 week, kapaliton jud gyapon ka, then by all means, palit. I think there is also no shame with buying or rewarding yourself. It will teach you ba a lesson. Like 7 days will give you enough time. Really make sure na, am I just buying this because that's the latest trend, or am I just buying because I need this for my daily commute, my work, or unsa pa na dira.
What could be your message how to make themselves be passionate enough nga kung naa na sila ingon ani nga panghuna-huna, at least ba dili siya maputol, especially usa sa ilahang request nga life coaching vlog.
That's interesting. For those who are generally interested with financial literacy, first is that you have to get a mentor that you want to emulate, follow those persons that are living the kind of lifestyle that you dream about. You will be guided and you will slowly determine your why. Determining man gud your why will keep you motivated in times of trials. Always integrate in your life to continuously learn. And you learn by reading books, watching Imy's YouTube channel and my YouTube channel, and also make sure that you have to invest in your future. And I appreciate the value of you taking, of your audience taking the time no mo ask sila question. Because again, going back to my statement earlier, financial literacy is essential in pursuing a holistic life. I'm just really happy na you gave me an environment, like a safe environment to talk about this.
Super gid ko ka-happy, grateful nga na-appeal jud ka diri sa ako ang vlog. And very informative, grabe ka wise nga mga choice of words. And then ako sad at the same time naka-reflect sad ko. Amazing person jud si Miss Kizea. Thank you so much, Miss Kizea, for having you here sa ako ang vlog.
You're very much welcome. Anytime you tell me, because I could always also discuss to you like in a personal level, like how insurance works, minimalism, anything about personal finance. It colors my world na I could talk about it. I appreciate this platform that Imy started. Like not everyone has the courage to start something like this. She's here for a mission, so subscribe to her channel. Click that notification bell somewhere if you're watching until the end of this video, because you will learn a lot. And I could come back sooner to talk about like additional things like insurance, minimalism, or anything. Like you want a part 2, I will be more than happy to do that. So don't forget to ask a lot of questions, because when you ask questions, that's when the learning comes in.